Lafayette, a small town in the southern United States, 2002. 2-year-old James Leninger wakes up screaming night after night, yelling the same 3 things. Airplane crash! Plane on fire! Little man can't get out! It's not just a nightmare. James tells his parents he's flying a fighter plane along with his best friend, Jack Larson. They had taken off from a ship called Natoma Bay and were shot down by the Japanese during the battle for Iwo Jima in 1945. Mom and Dad are Christians. They don't want to accept the obvious conclusion that their son is a reincarnated World War II pilot. So Dad goes to the military records to prove little Jim wrong. But he finds the battle was real, the ship was real, and there was just one pilot who burned to death on that mission. His name was James Huston. 60 years before James Leninger was born. For years I've been watching debates between atheists and Christians with fascinating arguments on both sides, but they're both missing a crucial point that changes the whole discussion. I'm talking about reincarnation. Christians think the idea of reincarnation is absurd.
This whole thing that we come back multiple times, that's not biblical. No, it's appointed to man once to die and then the judgment.
Hindus think it's absurd to say that you only have one life, and if you get it wrong, God tortures you in hell forever. Who's right? Is there any intelligent way of understanding, or is it simply our belief against your belief? Nowadays, there is powerful evidence to show that reincarnation is a fact, which means that the whole basis of Christianity is a massive, centuries-old mistake. Long before Christianity, the highly sophisticated spiritual traditions of India were based on solid spiritual knowledge of reincarnation. Reincarnation is a fact. It's a bold claim. Is there really evidence? There is, but you have to be open-minded enough to accept it. The University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies spent 50 years researching and found over 2,500 cases of children who remember past lives. For instance, 4-year-old Shanti Devi had never left Delhi. Yet, she led researchers to a specific house in Mathura, 140 kilometers away. She recognized her former husband and identified her former father and mother out of a crowd of 50 people. When she whispered to her former husband intimate details about their sexual life, he broke down in tears and admitted only his dead wife could have known that. Ryan Hammonds in Oklahoma, 5-year-old who pointed to a background actor in a 1930s photo and said, "That's me." He knew the actor's address, his agents, his friends, details so lost to time that historians had to hunt through archives just to prove a 5-year-old right. These are just some of the many anecdotes from real life from all over the world, which clearly point to the reality of reincarnation. In all cases, skeptics can raise what could be valid objections. But when there are hundreds of documented cases from around the world, it becomes increasingly unconvincing to reject them all. Objectors cannot even begin to formulate a hypothesis that could explain why such incidents keep occurring.
When you die and your body is dissolved, it does not immediately transform into another life, okay? You don't transmigrate, reincarnate into another human body. That's not possible. The Bible says as soon as your body is dissolved and gone, you immediately go to heaven.
But they go on objecting because they do not want to accept this simple explanation, reincarnation, which perfectly fits the data in every single case. Not only Christians, mainstream scientists also can't digest the reality of reincarnation. It turns upside down everything they believe science should be. But even though studies prove them wrong, they choose to ignore reality and dismiss reincarnation as unscientific. But they are being unscientific, and they cannot dismiss reality forever. There are many philosophical considerations raised by the narratives of Christianity and other Abrahamic religions that don't seem to make any sense. The Abrahamic concept of God cannot explain why someone is born in a rich family and someone else into poverty, or why bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people. Why is there evil in the world if there is a God who is all-powerful and all good? He should stop it. All this is easy to understand if we accept the Vedic Vaishnava worldview, the Bhagavad Gita teaching of karma and reincarnation. The Bhagavad Gita explains that each living being makes their own fate, their own karma. We have the choice to act well or badly. We can choose to act in evil ways, and evil begets evil. In life after life, we create new karma and then live it out. By knowledge of reincarnation, we can understand that we are given many chances in many lives, and although we have to suffer for bad actions, we are not condemned to burn in hell eternally. These teachings are quite understandable, it all makes sense. Otherwise, if we accept the concept of God given in the Abrahamic religions, then the eternal God created within a blip of time this temporary world, sent a bunch of humans into it, and eventually will wind it all up at the day of judgment. And those who don't believe in Christianity or Islam or whichever one you're in, you have to go to hell forever. No chance of ever coming out. This portrays God as a very nasty personality who creates billions of beings, knowing full well that he's going to send most of them to hell to suffer forever just because they got it wrong in one lifetime. I was born in 1957 in England, this time around, and I grew up with fear I'm going to get burned in hell. I was born in a Catholic family, and the Protestants say the Catholics go to hell, and the Catholics say the Protestants go to hell. There's no intelligent way to understand if being Catholic is right or Protestant is right. I didn't even know anything about the concept of reincarnation. I never heard the word till I was about 12 years old. If you only have one life and one chance, and you've got to be in the right religion, otherwise you go to heaven or hell, then what about the billions of people born before Christ? And the people born in places where they're never going to hear about whatever your preferred religion is, the one which you say is the only way. In Thailand, for instance, Theravada Buddhism is so deeply ingrained in the culture that even if people there hear about Christianity, they are strongly disinclined to accept it. Whereas someone born in, for instance, Malta or Ireland a generation or two ago will be raised as a Christian, and most will never consider giving it up. Or most people in Pakistan are raised as hardcore Muslims. Does it mean that God likes some people more than others? If Christianity is the only way, why does God not make everyone born as a Christian? And why did God wait for so many years to send Jesus, or whoever you think is the greatest teacher? Why did he create all the planets and stars and only on this tiny little planet have Christianity and nothing on other planets? This is all answered by the Vedic, Puranic understanding of reincarnation and karma, which states that all planets are inhabited, but that because of sensory limitations, we cannot discern life on other planets. People are getting their karmic results on other planets also. Now, the Christian idea is that you go to heaven more or less as the same person you are now. So you'll want your grandparents to be your grandparents in heaven, but they don't want to be old forever. How does that work out? And if you think that heaven is where you enjoy everything, including eating meat, you're going to need slaughterhouses in heaven. Very nasty idea. Traditionally, Christians have had the fanatical attitude that only our religion is right, and everyone else who is talking about God or spirituality is a representative of the devil. But long before Jesus, people were having spiritual experiences, talking about God, experiencing God, and particularly the Vedic theistic philosophy is considerably more sophisticated than anything in the Abrahamic religions, and is much older. You might think I'm biased, but it's largely objective. Since I was a small child, I started hearing, "Jesus is coming soon. Repent, sinners, or you will burn in hell." Christians have been saying that for 2,000 years, but Jesus never came. But still they go on saying it and believing it without any embarrassment or shame. There are many points to discuss, which I won't get into here, but the main point is that reincarnation is a fact. It's verifiable if you really want to know the truth, and not just, "I believe in Christianity because I'm a Christian," or "I reject reincarnation because I'm a scientist." Christians tend to be entrenched in their beliefs, even if it doesn't make any sense. They say, "I feel it in my heart. It must be right." However strongly you may feel it, and even if millions of people feel it, it shouldn't be based on feelings alone. It seems that these religions block the ability to think clearly. Many are very intelligent, but they start with blind faith in things that don't make sense. And then when they're confronted with the phenomena of reincarnation, which they can't explain, they just ignore it. The reality of reincarnation not only undermines the basis of Christianity, but it means that the whole Western civilization has been developed on a massive existential misunderstanding. All its assumptions about reality, about what civilization means, are based on a flawed understanding of who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. I understand that most Christians are going to be very upset with all that I have said, and that probably most of them feel a connection with God and are really trying to be good people. However, when confronted with this knowledge of reincarnation, they should understand that there are serious problems with their whole theology, and that by their fanatical attitude, one life only, believe what we say or you go to hell, they are seriously misrepresenting God as someone so nasty that he tortures billions in hell eternally. And in this way, Christians are actually insulting God and turning people into atheists. If Christians really want to be honest and properly understand God as he is, it is time for them to examine the evidence regarding reincarnation. No one is talking about reincarnation, but they should. It's the elephant in the room, which atheistic scientists and Christians don't want to think about. Christians have blind faith that Christianity is right, and atheistic scientists have blind faith that there is nothing beyond matter. They don't even want to hear about reincarnation, despite the compelling evidence, if they would open their eyes. Therefore, a campaign is needed. We should keep on pressing, showing the evidence. Reincarnation is a fact. You should accept it. If you want to go beyond blind faith, investigate further. There is an excellent book about reincarnation called Coming Back, published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. And if you want to understand the tradition that has preserved this knowledge for centuries, a philosophy that gives a much clearer picture of reality than the West has ever offered, then read Bhagavad Gita as it is, also published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts in the comment box. Hare Krishna.